Today's my day. I'm doing this video because I wanted to do a real estate video today, and I think this is going to help a few people, right? So I wanted to show a couple of things, and I want to turn this around so you can see it. Well, the difference between pretty deals, can you guys see that? And ugly deals. So, there's a difference between these two deals, man. Can you see that? Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. I do pretty deals. I don't like doing ugly deals. Say no. You know why? Because when I was younger, I do not like doing renovation work. That's not my thing. For all you contractors out there, you look for those deals, renovation guys, developers. I like pretty houses right there. Pretty deals. And we're talking about residential now, right? So apartment buildings, different game. We know there's some renovation. That's called value add. That's a different play. But if you guys are out there doing residential deals right now, let me tell you, one of the biggest opportunities are coming up because you got a lot of people flipping and finding deals to flip. They're making 10 grand, 20 grand, 5 grand, wholesaling. We called it assigning contracts, right? So not flipping, right? It's just a new term. It's all the same shit. But anyways, when you do pretty deals, you can flip pretty deals too. You can assign contracts, but the way you control them and get them is different. Your negotiation for a pretty deal is different. Your ugly house deals, you're using what's called the Mayo formula, maximum allowable offer. You don't do that on your pretty deals. Some of your pretty deals are just pretty houses that need 5 grand, $5,000 or less in renovation. That's like, I'm gonna show you. That's like kind of exposing how junky my house is right now. Literally, that's like coming over here and saying, okay, this is a pretty place. We like it. We love it. We want more of it. We're taking over this property. It's pretty. Oh, there's a scratch on the countertop here. There's granite. We're going to have to change that out. And other than that, flooring looks good. I'm going to show you. I'm just walk you around, right? This is the studio area where I was getting it all set up. So this looks nice. We're going to go over here. It's my real estate department. Where I sit over here, we go over our deals and stuff like that. But this place looks good. Carpet looks good. It's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath. There's the upstairs, and we do all that stuff. Then we walk in. You ain't gonna get this place for 65 cents on the dollar. Even if I owned it free and clear, it's easier for me to put it on the market. So for you guys out there that's doing the ugly house deals, which right now is the find and flip business, right? The pretty house business is very different. That's where you make the bulk of your money. A deal like this, let's say this place is in pre-foreclosure. Let's say they're a year behind in payments of, let's say, I don't know, 3 grand. $3,000, $36,000 plus maybe about $4,000 or $5,000 in attorney's fees. You put up 40 grand on a property like this, that's $700,000-$800,000 minimum in a neighborhood like this. And I'm going to show you what a pretty house neighborhood looks like. And anybody in the pretty house business knows exactly what I'm talking about. You're talking about pennies, right? So let's say you had to bring it current. Right, so we're looking around real quick. Boom. See what this looks like? All right, neighborhood, trees. It's a gated community. Looking down over there. You ain't gonna be like, oh, this place is the dump. You ain't gonna negotiate with me like that. So in this situation, I'm sharing with you guys the difference between the pretty house business. I look for deals that are in this situation. Pretty deals are different from ugly deals. 65 cents on the dollar is your maximum allowable offer. Will not work if somebody owes $500,000. Let's say they owe $500,000 on a deal, and they're behind in payments a year, hypothetically, right? And then with that behind in payments a year, let's say they're behind 40 grand with all the stuff included, right? Homeowners association, attorney's fees, mortgage. When it all boils down to, you're 50 grand. If you're going to bring it current as one strategy, that's not the strategy, that's a strategy to just bring it current, right? From somebody who's behind in payments. And they're like, look, we don't want this thing. We've already left. We've already at the end of our rope. We have another property. We're moving on. You do something like that, this deal works. That's a pretty house. You get in here about 5 grand, a little bit of that, clean this place up, and you take over the payments of $3,000 because it's subject to the existing financing. When you do pretty deals, we do subject twos. We take over the existing financing, whether we're bringing it current and then making the payments, we're selling it on a rent-to-own buyer, or we're just keeping it ourselves, right? In that situation, we already know what's going to happen, right? So on a pretty house, you can do that. You can't do that on an ugly house. right? You don't want to take over payments of something no one wants by Friday, right? So when you're doing this stuff, you want to realize there's differences. There's like, if you're going to do the find and flip on ugly deals, some people do them on pretty deals. I don't know. I haven't done it like that. I've always said, hey, look, pretty deals, less headache. There's usually a situation. I'm a situational buyer. If I can take over the situation as it sits, meaning the property has a situation going on. What did I say they were of the three? There's a people problem, a property problem, or a financial problem. One of those, right? Could just be vacant. They could have moved on. They could have got another job. They could have another property that they're dealing with. One way, shape, or form, something's happening. But this is a pretty home. These are the typical properties that we get. And if you're in this business long term, because there's going to be a wave of a bunch of people who cannot assign their contracts to other people. And I'm seeing it now. And we're actually looking at nice deals in downtown areas, condos, high-rise buildings, beautiful homes in beautiful neighborhoods. That's where you are going to find most of your pretty deals that people are going through those three, one of those three problems, two of those three problems, never all three. I do not deal with deals that have all three, people, property, and financial problems at the same time. That gets right back into the ugly deals where you got to put too much work and you need to hire a contractor to do that stuff. Very different. So I hope this helps you guys. The difference between a pretty deal and an ugly deal. Pretty deals have about $5,000 or so. Maybe you can put about 10 grand in renovations and stuff like that. So far as changing the carpet, maybe doing a little bit of flooring, some kitchen countertops, and some paint. That's about it. You ain't going in and tearing down stuff down to the studs and fixing drywall damage and mold. That's different. We ain't doing that. I would actually tell you guys don't do that. That's a scary speculation of business. This is not. We can move into this house. We live here. Every deal we get, we should be able to move into it with a little bit of sprucing up. Everybody that's a real estate investor that's running this business as a real estate investor from the pretty house side should be able to occupy any deal that you get because you know you've taken over the property, you've brought it current, the payments are manageable for you and for someone else if you were going to sell it on a rent to own, and you aren't dealing with the ugly houses where you got to come up with 400 grand versus 50 grand and hope and pray that this thing sells within a lot of time, or assign your contract to somebody else who's in that business. Because when this business shifts, man, you don't know when it'll do that, and you'll be out, right? So if you're a real player, I'm telling you, you need to move your way towards a pretty house business. I've been doing it for 20 years, man, and it's been phenomenal. All right, brother, I hope this helps you guys with today's segment of pretty houses versus ugly houses, man. This is Victor Bell. If you need anything, let me know. Like, comment, and or share this video for anybody that needs to see it. And if you want something, anything I can help you guys with, let me know. All right, then, let's talk soon.